Right, Mr. Newland? Absolutely. Now, does anybody here, I got a kind of a random question, but it's not so random. Does anybody in here shave? I shave. I shave this morning. Does anybody here shave using, not the disposable razor, but a razor that has just a disposable head on it? That's what I used. In fact, I bought a bunch of replacements yesterday at Costco. Expensive as all get out. But are the handles expensive? No.
You can usually buy a new handle with the same price.
Yeah. So he has a collection of handles.
I do.
So, do you think Gillette is making money on their Fusion handles?
No.
How are they making it up?
Because they
Charge you an arm and so Mr. Kanoy, what if handles are product number 777 and replacement razor blades is product 123? Should we stop making handles so we can start making more money?
No, because it'd be kind of weird to just use the head.
It would be kind of weird. So should we stop making printers, HP printers? Because how do they really make money? Ink. Should we stop selling Xbox 360s or PS3s? Well, the controllers they make money on. Yeah, I know, but they make money on those. They lose money from the purpose, certainly for the, actually I read something today that's not very authoritative that suggests that Sony and Microsoft are now making money on console sales. But when they started, particularly the PS3, Sony was losing not just their shirt, but their pants too, on every sale of a PS3. You could buy that. People were buying them because you could get PS3s cheaper than Blu-ray players, so they'd buy them just for the Blu-ray player. But the thing is, my point though is that all of those things, the handles for razors, printers, Xbox 360s, PS3s, all of those are out here. These are products that are all out here. That's my point. And so you want to be careful about, that's why the knee-jerk reaction isn't the best reaction necessarily, because a company wants to be careful, Gesundheit. Company wants to be careful about throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And I'm not really sure where that phrase came from. Gesundheit, noch einmal. But you get the idea. You don't want to, we're not going to sell any ink cartridges if we're not first selling printers, even if we're selling them at a loss. Right? We're not going to sell any replacement razor blade cartridges if we're not first selling the handles, even if we have to sell them at a loss. So be careful. So what can they do then? So I shot down. Unfortunately, I kind of.
Makes sense though.
Well, thank you. Taylor, what can they do? There's a long list on the next slide. I think 7, 8 items. Do what again?
Increase the price for the replaceable heads.
Increase the price for which ones?
The replaceable heads.
The replaceable. Do we want to increase the price of this? Well, that is a possible idea. What she's saying is, let's make these, which isn't normally thought of, but it could potentially work depending upon the product and stuff. She's saying let's charge even more to make up for this loss.
I'd stop shaving.
Or I'm sorry?
I'd stop shaving. I couldn't afford it then.
Thankfully, that's easier for you to do as a guy than,
There are some cultures that accept that.
Yeah, there are some cultures that accept that. Or you could start waxing instead. You might find that cheaper.
I'd probably more expensive. Well, more painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ran out of What?
It's beauty. And so, but the other alternative would be to raise the price of the cheap ones, possibly as well. So that is one idea. What were you going to say back there, sir? Now you wait? I need like 5 or 6 more answers.
So if I was to look at this, and well, I was asking something separate from what you're saying, so.
I'm sorry?
If I was to look at this, and management was to say, blah, 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 what should we do to increase?
Profit. Yes.
You would still include the outlier with your sales.
As of right now, we're still making and selling them. This describes us today.
Yeah, okay.
So we're trying to decide what to do.
Where it goes downhill, you're still making it. And if you don't make it, then it's all.
Maybe, maybe not. We just got to be careful. What were you going to say?
Could you look at maybe like your process that you're using to make those razor handles and try to see if you can be more efficient or reduce your costs in some way?
Absolutely you could. That's exactly what Microsoft and Sony did, right? Over time, they figured out how to make things cheaper. And in part, the technology, the parts just became cheaper. You know, certainly for Sony and their Blu-ray players. Eventually, the cost of Blu-ray players came down, and they're able to start making these things more cheaply. Very good. Any other things?
You could reduce the amount of the outline product that you make.
Yes, you could, which was Catherine's answer. Oh, you got it from him? Okay, very good. That is correct. Potentially reduce. And could you eliminate some of these?
Some, yeah.
Yes. You just want to be careful. You just don't want to say, we're done with those. Because then you're throwing out the printers and the handles and the PS3s.
Well, because even from 500 to 700, you're not really making any money. You're not going down.
You're not. You're, I mean, yeah. I mean, who here would like to own a company that made $2.4 million last year? I'd take it. You want to give it to me? I'd take it. So do they have to do anything at all? Not necessarily. They're doing okay. Maybe they could make a little more money, but I would take a company that's making, I mean, if you want to give it to me, I would take it. I would. That would be something of a, you know, pay raise for me. Okay? So we've already kind of, what this shows us though is that there is some unrealized profit to be made that they didn't actually earn. And here's some of the things you talked about. Do nothing, raise prices, try and cut costs, rationalize product offerings, which would mean cutting some of them. One thing we didn't talk about, we could outsource losers in terms of maybe somebody else could make it cheaper than us. Because actually, does Microsoft make 360s? Not a one.
Really?
They don't make them themselves. They buy them from somebody else that makes them for them. Well, Nike does make shoes, but they buy them from people that make them for them overseas. But anyway, and in some sense, Taylor said we can make some of these things we can make even more profitable. Why not? Right? If we can, if the market will take it. So, activity-based costing really, in a nutshell, helps with two different types of decisions. One is more operational. Can we help Jim make engines faster and more cheaply? That's an operational thing. But there's also a strategic component that it can be used, because activity-based costing can be used for, you know, should we be playing in this game, in this field, in this market? General Motors, at one point in time,